chartered financial planner living here in Spain. Spain has always been attractive to British people coming to retire. And why not? It has a marvellous climate, a great lifestyle, eating out is relatively cheaper, and the property prices, while rising, continue to be so much lower than in the UK. I've taken quite a few calls from British people looking to sell up in the UK and come to Spain. With the cost of living crisis going on in the UK, energy prices increasing and inflation going up, it makes a lot of sense to come to somewhere where the climate is a lot nicer. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you why moving to Spain now might make a lot of sense. By saying nothing I say here could be considered financial advice. If you want specific financial advice based on your individual circumstances, then please get in touch with me through the comment section below or through the YouTube channel. So there are four main reasons why I feel like British people are looking at Spain to come and live now. The first one is obviously the cost of living crisis that we're having throughout Europe. But the cost of living, or the cost of electricity and gas, is obviously a bit lower here and we use less. But also salaries haven't kept pace with inflation and won't keep pace with inflation as we go to rates we've never seen before of 18% or so. Number two is the fact that people's mortgage rates are going to increase quite substantially. Interest rates have already gone up and are going up. But as people's fixed rates end, they're going to see huge increases in their mortgage payments. Number three, we're seeing property prices in the UK continuing to rise. And that's going to give people the opportunity to realise equity out of their properties. And number four, Spanish properties, while on the increase, prices increase, are still way below the UK for comparable properties. So in this video, I'm going to explain these four reasons in a bit more detail. We've all seen the headlines. The cost of living is increasing everywhere, and lots of people are looking at their option and wondering whether now is the time to leave the UK. They think if they come to a warm climate, it will save them a lot of money on the energy prices. That said, apartments and houses in Spain can be surprisingly chilly. They're not very well insulated. In the UK, there is a big concern about inflation. It's going to be a lot higher there than it will be in the EU. Citibank in America has estimated that the UK inflation rate will reach 18%, and Goldman Sachs has predicted that in early 2023 it will get to 22%. This is a real worry for people who are still in employment, because obviously their salaries are not going to keep pace with that. The railway workers were recently offered a pay rise of 3%, so that won't keep pace with inflation. In Spain, we have seen VAT on energy bills be lowered down to 5%, and the government has recently introduced a tax on the energy companies to help consumers through the difficult times. So you can see why people might be thinking now is the time to move to the warmer climate. Turn our attention to mortgage costs. Over the last 10 years, interest rates have been phenomenally low, but the Bank of England has moved their interest rate from 0.1% at the end of last year to 1.75% now, and that means the mortgage interest rates have also increased. According to Money Facts, the average 2-year fixed rate is now over 4%, when it was only at 2.34% only 9 months ago. And what this means is as people renew their mortgages, they're going to get more and more expensive. The FT estimates that 40% of fixed rate mortgages are going to come up for renewal in the next year. So very many people are going to be faced with increased mortgage costs. So far it's all been a bit gloomy and depressing. So let's move on to the good news if you're a UK property owner. For most of my adult life, I've only seen UK property prices go up. And if we look at the price index survey, you can see that in 1992, the average house price in the UK was £55,000. Today it's £286,000. That's an increase of 520%. In London, the average house price has gone from £67,000 in 1992 up to £537,000. That's an increase of 800%. And lots of people have done better than average. And these property increases have dwarfed what many people have earned over that same period. And the best thing about the UK is that if you realise those gains now, it's tax-free. There is a main home exemption in the UK that allows you to sell your property, your main home, and realise that gain without any tax. And that's why lots of people are now coming to me and saying, Gerald, I'm going to sell my house in the UK, buy a nice house in Spain, keep the extra money, pay off my mortgage, keep the extra money, and have that support my pension. And for many people, that's a great solution. Now, in the UK, property prices do seem to be continuing to go up. The nationwide house price index said that last year prices went up by 10% and by 0.8% in the last month. But many commentators are saying that this can't continue because of the factors we've already discussed. House prices in Spain can vary considerably between, on the one hand, the big cities and the costas, and on the other, properties in the countryside. I've had a look at property prices in the Malaga province where I live, and you can see here that since January 2006, property prices in Malaga province have only risen by 30%. That said, it does take into account the early 2010s property crash. In the last 8 years, property prices in Malaga province have gone up by 72%. Now, that could be due to the fact that people are able to work from home, and Northern Europeans are now moving to the costas and taking advantage of the low cost of living and the wonderful climate that we have here. That's not so easy for people from Britain anymore, unfortunately, due to Brexit. Retired people still are able to take or apply for 2 different visas. One is the golden visa, but you must be able to invest at least €500,000 in Spain. That's usually through buying a property. Or alternatively, there's something called a non-lucrative visa, which means you can't work, but as long as you can support yourself and prove you can support yourself and get private medical insurance, then you can come and live in Spain. I can't predict the future, nobody can. UK property prices may continue to rise for a very long time. It could be that inflation doesn't get as high as we think it will and mortgage rates stay low for longer. It could be that, comparatively speaking, Spanish property prices stay cheap for UK buyers. That said, I do think now is a sweet spot for British people who are retiring or coming to retire in the near future to make that move to Spain. Thank you for your time today. If you have any comments or any queries, please get in touch.